So dear students, we will go into the second section of sleep where we will go into details of REM sleep. So what we will learn in this class is what is REM sleep, that is rapid eye movement sleep, what is the EEG pattern of REM sleep, behavioral changes, physiological changes of REM sleep. Also we will look into the genesis of sleep, genesis of non-REM sleep as well as REM sleep. Also we will look into the chemical and drugs that will affect your sleep. So what is REM sleep? Rapid eye movement sleep, fast wave sleep, there is desynchronization here. Other names will include paradoxical sleep, dream sleep, deepest sleep. So what is this rapid eye movement sleep? It is a unique phase distinguished by rapid movement of your eyes accompanied by low muscle tone throughout the body and the propensity of the sleeper to dream vividly. So I have narrated you three things here. One is movement of the eyes, two is hypertonia, that is muscle tone is very less, three is you have dreams. So if you remember the other names of REM sleep, you know what is happening during the REM sleep. Please do remember that. So when you look into this EEG pattern, come to the last column, REM sleep, you can see it is resembling like a waking activity. It is like a beta activity, fast rhythm. So that is why the sleep is a deeper sleep, but you have a pattern like an alert state. That is why it is called as paradoxical sleep. So can we sum up again what is happening during an awake state? You have an alert state, awake alert state, you have beta waves. During the relaxed eye closed state, you have a moderate frequency alpha waves. Then the non-REM sleep starts, you have the theta waves, then sleep spindles and K complexes. Then you have the delta waves in the later stages of non-REM sleep. Then as they pass into the REM sleep, you again have a beta-like activity. So it is resembling a waking state. So what is the duration of REM sleep? We will remember during one sleep cycle constitutes a non-REM sleep and a REM sleep. The total duration of this is 90 minutes and the duration of non-REM sleep is 85 minutes. Duration of REM sleep is 5 minutes. So here also you can see the duration of REM sleep slowly increases over the cycle. So in the first cycle it is a smaller duration. As the cycle progresses, the duration increases and it becomes maximum in the last cycle. So what is the EEG pattern of REM sleep? We know REM sleep is paradoxical sleep because you are in the deeper stages of sleep, but your EEG activity resembles like a beta rhythm, faster beta rhythm. Faster beta rhythm occurs where? During alert awake state. Hence this is called as paradoxical sleep. So the EEG pattern will be a beta rhythm, high frequency, low amplitude pattern. Some synchronized pattern that is seen in the waking state similar to the beta rhythm occurs. Hence this is called as paradoxical. So also you have some spikes which is called as PGO spikes. That is ponto-geniculo-occipital spike. It is produced in the pons, goes to the lateral geniculate body, then comes to the occipital cortex. Hence this is called as GPO spikes. So during REM sleep you have beta-like activity and PGO spikes. These are phasic potentials that occur in the group of 3 to 5. This causes hypertonia. So we looked into the EEG waves of your REM sleep. Now we will look into the behavioral changes. So it is very difficult to arouse a person from the REM sleep. So in the non-REM sleep where we can arouse during the lighter stages, during the deeper stages, that is stage 3 and stage 4, it is very difficult to arouse. When they get into the REM sleep, it is much even difficult to arouse. So when awakened from a REM sleep, the individual becomes very alert and aware of the environment. He can wake up spontaneously than the others sleep too. Dreaming, which is very important, that occurs during REM sleep, and the recalling of dreaming occurs during the REM sleep. So what are the physiological changes during REM sleep? Rapid eye movements, saccadic eye movements occur, burst of small jerky movements that bring the eyeball from one fixation point to another to allow a sweeping of visual images of dream. 2 is heart rate, blood pressure is increased, respiratory rate becomes irregular, muscle tone is reduced, snoring can occur. So by now we know what is REM sleep, what are the changes that occur, what is non-REM sleep, what are the changes that occur. So now we will go into genesis of sleep, how this sleep is occurring. So the most important thing you must remember is the reticular activating system, the RAS withdrawal, as well as there are some sleep promoting areas in your brain, and the excitation of these areas causes a sleep. And the process by which REM sleep is induced and non-REM sleep is induced, and the switch between these two is very different. There are different theories behind this. So now we'll look into the genesis of non-REM sleep. So we know first is a non-REM sleep. So we are from the awake state getting into the sleep. We start our sleep with a non-REM sleep. So you can have an afferent control, like when you are tapping the baby, you're giving a slow frequency stimulation, mechanical stimulation. These can cause induction of sleep. That is an afferent control. Also you have brain central control of this non-REM sleep, where you have specific zones there: diencephalic sleep zone, medullary synchronizing zone, basal forebrain sleep zone. These zones, when they are stimulated, they induce sleep. And also we know there is a circadian control or circadian rhythm. So now we will start with the sleep promoting zones. The first zone is the diencephalic sleep zone, which lies in the hypothalamus, and the nearby intralaminar and anterior thalamic nuclei also constitutes here. So in the hypothalamus you have the sleep facilitatory center and a waking center. Sleep facilitatory center, that is when it is stimulated it will cause sleep, is the anterior hypothalamus. And there is a sleep waking center, that is when you stimulate it, it causes wakefulness. It is present in the posterior hypothalamus. Next we'll come to the medullary synchronizing zone. It is in the reticular formation of the medulla oblongata at the level of nucleus of Tractus solitarius. It produces sleep when it is stimulated at a low frequency. So we see in the reticular formation also that is sleep inducing zones. So third one is the basal forebrain sleep zone, which is preoptic area on the diagonal band of Broca, which is very near to the hypothalamus. Stimulation of this zone causes sleep. Low as well as high frequency will produce sleep. These are the very important neurochemicals act here to induce sleep, like adenosine, which is getting accumulated during your wakefulness. So how does they induce sleep? Now we know you have the sleep promoting areas in your brain, and when they are stimulated it produces sleep. So you have some cells which are called as non-REM on cells. These cells are nothing else but GABAergic neurons. They are inhibitory neurons. They mediate the sleep inducing actions of the sleep zones and they produce sleep. So due to the action of these neurotransmitters is what a control of sleep occurs. So how they produce sleep? They produce sleep by inhibiting the histaminergic neurons in the posterior hypothalamus. 2, by inhibiting the cells of nucleus reticularis pontus oralis in the midbrain that mediate arousal. So what it does? It will inhibit the posterior hypothalamus. Posterior hypothalamus, we know it is the waking center, isn't it? And it also inhibits the RAS, that is the nucleus reticularis pontus oralis. So it also causes a decrease in arousal. So this will cause an onset of sleep. So we see here, we will make it much simpler. So in the nucleus reticularis, which is present in the thalamus, you have GABAergic inhibitory neurons that will cause a rhythmic firing of thalamic relay neurons that project to the cortex. That causes a synchronized postsynaptic pulse in the cortical neurons, and that causes a sleep. So now we know the neurons of the brain have a control or induce or reduce the sleep. So now we have the chemicals which affect this non-REM sleep, which mediate this non-REM sleep. Most important one is your serotonin or 5-hydroxytryptamine, and these are produced from the nuclear neurons to the thalamus and to the cortex, and this plays a very important role in sleep. The next neurotransmitter which you got to remember is norepinephrine, which is released from locus coeruleus. Also, we should look into the acetylcholine, adenosine, and prostaglandins. So, adenosine is a very important substance. Like there is a hypothesis, like during wake up, due to the metabolic activities and so on, a substance accumulates, and the most important one is adenosine, which goes and acts on the hypothalamus, and it will induce the sleep. Okay, so the details of it we are not discussing here beyond scope. If you have any doubts regarding this, you can also ask later. So we know you will remember serotonin, norepinephrine, adenosine, prostaglandins, and acetylcholine. So now we will look into the genesis of REM sleep. The genesis of non-REM sleep the genesis of REM sleep is completely different. You have different actions going on, physiological actions going on in the genesis of REM sleep and non-REM sleep. So here what happens is there is an interaction of neurons in the caudal midbrain and bonds with the neurons in the medulla and the forebrain. Amygdala has a role, cingulate gyrus has a role. So we will discuss under two things here. One is role of cholinergic neurons of midbrain and the adjacent dorsal pons. Second one is role of nucleus reticularis pons oralis. So you remember acetylcholine, you'll remember norepinephrine. These are the two things you must remember when you talk about the genesis of REM sleep. So what is the role of cholinergic neurons? They discharge acetylcholine and they are maximally active during the REM sleep. They contribute to the blocking of slow waves of EEG, and PGOs are formed due to this. So what is the role of nucleus reticularis pons oralis? They have cholinergic PGO on cells which secretes acetylcholine, which is very active during this REM sleep. You have REM waking on cells of nucleus reticularis pons oralis. You have REM on cells. So it is the interaction of acetylcholine, 5-hydroxytryptamine, noradrenaline. These are the very important neurotransmitters involved. So we will look into the REM waking on cells of RPO. They fire at a very high rate during active waking as well as during REM sleep. We know the REM sleep is similar to the waking up state, isn't it? The waves are very similar. EEG waves are very, very similar. They project to the motor neurons in the spinal cord, project to the motor neurons that drive the extraocular muscles. Burst firing of REM waking on cells during REM sleep produces rapid eye movement and muscle twitches. You have the REM on cells too. High level of activity occurs here during the REM sleep. Very little or no activity during the waking up or non-REM sleep. There is norepinephrine discharge. This you must remember. So again we will look into some drugs and effect on the REM sleep. Acetylcholine, we know it increases REM sleep. Atropine suppresses REM sleep. Physostigmine, which promotes the acetylcholine activity, increases the duration of REM sleep. Monoamines increases REM sleep. Reserpine, which depletes the monoamine, blocks the REM sleep but increases rapid eye movement. There is a controversy here. Administration of L-DOPA, catecholamine precursor, increases the REM sleep but not the slow wave sleep. Barbiturate decreases REM sleep. So the chemical mediators of sleep, which if you got to remember serotonin, acetylcholine, norepinephrine, muramyl peptides, interleukin-1, adenosine, delta sleep-inducing peptides, prostaglandins, and arginine vasopressin. So here we will do a rapid recap of the differences between the REM sleep and the non-REM sleep. So you have the rapid eye movement, which is present in the REM sleep, absent in the non-REM sleep. Dreams, present in the REM sleep, absent in the non-REM sleep. Muscle twitchings, present in the REM sleep, absent in the non-REM sleep. Heart rate is stable Blood pressure is stable, respiration is stable, body temperature is stable during the non-REM sleep, and it is fluctuating during the REM sleep. Neurotransmitter is most important one which you got to concentrate is serotonin in the non-REM sleep, noradrenaline in the REM sleep. Also, don't forget about adenosine and acetylcholine. So now again we will have a recap of the EEGs, waves patterns which are present during the sleep. So during wakefulness we have the fast beta rhythm. When we get into the REM sleep, stage 1, that is slowing of this rhythm, and when you go into the stage 2, you have the sleep spindles and your K complexes. When you go into the stage 3 and 4, you have the delta rhythm. Then you go into the REM sleep, again it is a fast beta like rhythm. So in these 2 sessions we looked into what is sleep, requirements for sleep, types of sleep, stages of sleep, duration of sleep, what is REM sleep, what is non-REM sleep, and mechanism of sleep or the genesis of sleep. Thank you. We will go into the next session where we will look into the sleep disorders and some theories behind sleep.